Okay, so I made items in the list, in our agenda list. Basically just looking at PRs and possibly looking at making issues for the random input tests and thinking about those, the problems you listed on that PR.
Sure. Okay. I'm now in 20 different places. Let me open up.
And maybe the Windows thing, but the like.
What about the Windows thing?
You had one that was, I don't remember if it's still a draft or whatever, but it's using basically to make it a command line thing instead of a library. To make it a node command line. Like
Okay.
just I mean, it's in the PRs, so it can just be part of the PRs, but.
Yes, yeah. Cool. I can share.
You can get through as much or as little of that as we're up for.
So yeah, let me open it and then share my screen. Share the screen. Go. Okay. Screen shared. PRs. So did this one we want to merge?
I think we already merged this. Oh, yes, we just want to merge. You're not signed in.
I know.
But if you want, you can pause the share.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
Oh,
I can merge it. You approved it, so I can merge it. You don't have to.
Cool. Yeah,
while you sign in, I'll just go ahead and merge it. But we want to rebase and merge. There we go. Okay. That one is handled.
Nice. Okay. And I can resume share and I'm logged in. Cool.
We can look at the REST API thing because that, like, we already mostly did that.
And I made those changes on Friday. That was the one thing I was able to do. I think I
throw.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know why I don't throw for deleting. Oh, delete project starting with, because that's just a local thing. That's fine.
I think so, yeah.
Though I've totally forgotten how to do that. Is a code 1 to avoid. Can we add a comment that says to avoid? Here, I'll just maybe add a comment that we're avoiding the promise, unhandled promise rejection error.
Oh, in the exit code part?
Yeah, I just added it there. Sorry, you're the one sharing your screen and I'm like,
we can always
doodling around over here.
We can always
Um, yeah, sure. Oh, I can't do it until you unshare.
unshare. Sorry.
No worries. Delete project. Delete project name is fine. Success takedown is finished successfully. Same. Let's go 0. So same comment here. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Same. If you want, I can just make comment why we're using process exit code. Though I'm not, hang on, actually, why process exiting on success? Like, why are we doing it on line 17?
Because it makes it clear that it's succeeded. Was my thing. I don't think it's strictly necessary because I think by default exit code is 0.
I'd rather not, because I'd rather that the main I'd prefer the setup file take care of setup file or takedown file take care of
takedown.
the basic flow of what happens. For example, what if we decide we want to do other things after running? Oh, this is takedown.js.
This is takedown, yes.
Oh my god.
Like, we're only ever going to be running this.
Oh, I didn't notice we missed this. Takedown. Sorry, I didn't hear you say that until later. I don't know that I want to take it out of the hands of the normally running process. I still don't know. I'm still not quite sure what the ramifications would be down the stream.
What do you define as the normally running process?
Like what GitHub is doing. Or our action script is doing. It seems safe, but why not let it complete on its own?
So 2 things to note.
Mm-hmm.
Exit code, setting exit code to 0 or 1 doesn't stop this process from running. It's just when the process stops running, that's the code that's returned when the process stops. So and what allows GitHub Actions to know this failed because it had an exit code that wasn't 0. So it doesn't stop the process from running. It just notes, hey, if nothing else changes this is what you're going to return at the end, whenever this script is done. And then 2, it's implicitly always 0. And GitHub Actions needs it to be set correctly in the script in order to determine whether that particular determine whether a takedown succeeded or failed. So setting it to 0 doesn't explicitly change like what's happening. It's not like taking away control from GitHub Actions. GitHub Actions needs it to be set correctly, and it's implicit since it's implicitly set to 0. It doesn't, that part isn't needed. And it's more of I wanted to make it clear, hey, it succeeded. Like set it to 0. There's nothing else in the script should be like causing the script to fail after this. And in the other place, oh, you set it to 1.
Like if in future we actually handle it appropriately,
Mm-hmm.
we have to clean all this. Like this is we're doing a hack here. We're not doing like a practice here, like a new practice. This process.
I will have to check because I don't actually know if you handle the rejected promise by default. The X, like unless there's something else that happening in Node under the hood when you handle that, it's still going to be set to 1. It's still going to be like have the set to 0. Like it's not going to exit with a non-zero code.
Yeah, I'm just saying like this isn't a new like practice for our code in general. We're not going to go everywhere saying process with exit code this, process with exit code that, right?
Well, so we'd only ever do it in like the outermost scripts that you run, like take down and setup. And I don't know enough. That's the thing is I don't know enough about like how the handle rejected promise stuff works. But right now, like the handle rejected and promise fails and has an exit code of 1, which correctly lets GitHub Actions know that this whole thing failed because Node itself is like freaking out about the fact you don't have the rejected promise, and so it internally errs. If we stop it from internally erring by like giving it the proper function to run when you have that, or like the proper thing to do when you have a rejected promise, I don't know if it still internally errs. We might do that, and we might still have to add in that like rejection process. Oh, process exit code equals 1. That might still exist. That line might still exist.
It would, but it wouldn't exist out here.
That's fair. And so when we're refactoring. Okay, so okay. So for some reason I thought you were saying like I thought you were trying to say, oh, we won't be using exit code at all. That's not best practices. Where is kind of, I don't know if it's like it's heavily used in the JavaScript community, but it is very useful and important to make sure we have the right exit code to make sure we don't like have silently failing GitHub Actions.
Right. I'm just saying we're not going to start using it in our code. Like we're not going to keep process exit code equals 1 here. So I don't know if we should start keeping process exit code equal. I don't think we should handle the exit codes.
We need to handle exit code sometimes. What we have been doing so far is...
But when we don't need to handle exit codes, I'm just saying like the handler isn't going to, like, are we going to, when we get rid of line 20, are we going to get rid of line 17? You know?
Okay, that's fair.
right? Right, we're not doing it to clarify something. We're not doing line
no.
20 to clarify something. We're just doing line 20 because we don't have another way we're handling things. Like, it's not always going to be there, ideally.
Yeah, but that you could say that about a lot of different pieces of code. I get what you're saying. And I can just take if I'm not sure like what the I have lost track of what we're talking about at this point.
Whether we should keep
if we
line
just
17 in.
if we just want to delete line 17, I'll delete line 17.
Okay.
I thought it made the code more readable
It's not a
as
big
is.
deal. I was just wondering like what was behind that. So like,
All it was is it makes it more readable and shows, hey, explicitly if it makes it to the end of the try, it's like success, you did it. As opposed to if you do it if you get to the end, if it goes into the catch, it has explicitly failed the process. I can add it there if we need to, but
should we do it on line like, you know, should we do it below line 41 as well? Like, is that what you're thinking?
not actually no, because that's only really the case for like if it deletes the project correctly, then it's successfully taken down. That's only the case in
But if
takedown.
it sets up the project correctly, then shouldn't it also exit with code 0?
And it will, and that's the thing that's why I was saying it's implicitly default, or it's by default.
Right, but
it's
would
0.
we want to add the line here to avoid it being implicit, to be more explicit as we're doing here?
I didn't think that we needed to be explicit at the latter part. It was more of all of the logic is in these try catches, and if it gets to the end of the try catch, it's good. We don't have to have it. It's not like I don't want to try and make everything. I agree. I would not have to want to add exit code 0 in every single place that we succeed, because that's kind of silly and not super useful. It was more of just these 5 lines of code I felt were a bit more readable if it's like showing all you need to do is get to the end of the try. Like, we don't have to have it. I'll delete it.
So, right, like, if I see that, if I'm reading JavaScript code, I'm like, oh, what's happening here? Right? Like, what's special about what's happening here?
That's fair. So I'll just delete it. Like, I would rather delete it than add an extra 2 lines to comment why it was there in the first place.
Sure. Okay. I can see your point in that, like, it shows the code, it shows the flow more clearly. I feel that that's true of all code. It's like, where does it end? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that is a useful thing in general to know. As a JavaScript developer, I would look at this, right? And I would think like, why is this special? And maybe that's just a difference, or like process difference either between us or between JavaScript developers versus developers in other languages. But I would see this and I'd be like, why is this happening? Right?
Sure.
Same as here.
Yeah,
Right?
that's
This is a special situation. And so what is special about this situation?
fair. And I feel like if it was not JavaScript, I would just call exit 0 there because the process is done and we don't need anything more. But like that's from what I understand, like at least with all this async stuff, just doesn't work, and you have to do exit code equals instead. So that's my.
I don't know
probably,
enough about exit in Node. So
yeah.
If you've done research on it, also that's more than I've done. So that's also fair. So I'm just gonna make this a comment.
Yeah, make those comments. I'll remove that the comment about why we're setting process code.
I made some notes, but I don't think they're blockers, if I recall correctly. Because now I've forgotten what other comments I made. But I'm just gonna approve, and then you do what you need to do. And I think this is a great change in general.
Cool.
Now I'll put that. I think this is a great change. Great. Oh, now I get to see this. Oh, it's the same thing. Whatever. Yeah, okay. It's been very rare that I've had to like actually manage exiting. I think I've done it once before.
Yeah.
And I generally haven't seen it. So, but okay. Rocket ship to the moon. Nope, that didn't work. I should share with you this cool little game I found this time.
You're still screen sharing, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool.
So, but that is not relevant to what we're doing right now, for sure. Okay. We can wait for that to pass. Working on Windows. Still a work in progress, right? It's a draft, and why? Like, is there?
So
it's a draft because you haven't changed it, or it's a draft because?
No, it's still a draft intentionally. I think I checked this a bit last time. If you go to the last commit, I like made the comments that I wanted to make progress on for that.
Okay.
Like in the last commit message, and I think those little 3 dots. It was like, and it was mostly just testing it a lot, because I did not have a good way to. Like, I can make sure I can run everything works locally, but like I was trying to make sure that, oh, this is going to not break any existing like GitHub, anyone who's using the GitHub action or anything else, because it's kind of hard to test an npm install.
Okay.
And so I had noted a few things of like, oh, test. Like, I was like, oh, there's a way you can install npm packages from GitHub. Maybe I'll try and set that up in a manual action and just copy paste a whole bunch of the action stuff, except for how we install the package. And if that works, then maybe I'll set everything up and then also use just a different GitHub branch to test the action itself, and then maybe get your help to do a pre-release. Just like a few steps that I need to do that are less about writing code and more about trying to figure out Node.
Yeah, I wish we could like
GitHub makes
that.
GitHub makes it so hard to test actions. I haven't figured out a great way to do it, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, there are people who test actions. Maybe we can look at some of their stuff, but yeah. Okay. Do we want to just test that stuff now? Would it be easier to just do it, or?
Might be. You can try out.
Did you end up ORing everything together?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which is just the normal behavior of what we were doing before. Like if you passed a whole bunch of tags, to run all of the tags.
Okay.
But okay, so let me look.
And is the next step after this to make it words are hard, to make it more secure by shrink wrapping or whatever, or so that we just update it less? Like
that's
we
an
were
option.
gonna,
I think that's
is
yeah.
that one of the next steps, or
That's
just do it?
I think that's a thing we can do. Yeah, because shrink wrap is. What was it? I'm blanking all the words, but I do think that's right. Like, I don't think it was necessarily dependent on this, but we can do it in a slightly different way after doing this. So I think you're right about that.
I don't really know what this does, but I trust you. We'll need to try it with a repository that has tags in its tests, so we can test it that way.
So note that was already there, and the only thing I changed was just how it's run, since we're running it from a script instead of npm run.
That is true. You know,
and I had to get rid of the
got rid of tags.
Yeah, I had to get rid of the dash tags for it to work, because we don't need dash tags.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
Is this going to change how we run it for our own stuff, or are we still going to call npm run set up npm run test, npm run takedown? Like, are we locally,
if you scroll up to the package JSON, it should still be no.
It should still be the same for us.
I think I set it up so I think the commands we run are the same. Like, I think I tried to set it up such that we could still run npm run test, npm run, I don't know, whatever other ones we have. Yeah, but Cucumber and like Cucumber base and Cucumber, I think I was the only one ever using Cucumber external. But Cucumber base were more like, or Cucumber base specifically was like a interface thing where we just had added an extra level of abstraction in the in the package JSON, right? Because we just needed multiple things to call Cucumber base.
Yeah, I'm wondering if like we can use .lib internally when it's not installed. Maybe that's another thing to test. Is it that Cucumber can still be used internally?
But
Oh, there we go.
we can, because
Lib
it's
utils,
it's in all the
okay.
other ones, and it's what it looked like before. We were like, there's .libs all over the place on the left side, like .lib utils, clean reports, .til. Blah.
Well, whatever. There's
Yeah.
.libs.
There's
I'm
.libs.
happy with that.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So do you want to try and just do some of this testing now, or do you just want to do that later?
We could, I guess. Nothing's stopping us other than if that's just the only. It will probably take a while because I don't know what I'm doing on it and kind of been floundering, and so it will just take a while. I know I don't know if we wanted to do also issues. What was the other PR thing you had mentioned? I'm not blanking.
I mean, the other PR was just the random tests, random input tests, and I wanted to make issues out of the bugs that are still around, and think about how we might solve them. Right?
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Like we talked about radio buttons, like detecting groups somehow when we get the page data. So just if it's in a group, add like that data to the object, and then somehow later use that information to pick one evenly. But I don't think we've gone into the other ones.
Yeah. That's fair. We could do either. Honestly, I'm not super sure how to proceed. Mostly because the bugs still exist and they're around because I don't know how to solve them.
Okay, we could also check out the bug that is keeping it from passing, but just like see if we can move these forward a little bit, because I think they're really good finds and like really.
We could at least make issues for the first two. The last one is just like, I have no idea what's happening. It's not reproducible. Yeah. It's not useful. It's not like actionable as it is an issue. But we can definitely make those first two issues.
Yeah.
I can do that now. I also sometimes feel weird opening issues before I have merged the PR, but it's probably good to just do it.
Well, we can just edit it and add the issue number.
Yeah.
This one, I would like to see the pictures from it, like what screenshots it saved if you ran it locally.
I think they've been blank from what I remember, but if I run into it again, I'll try and save it specifically.
Well, we might be able to see the URL. I don't know if we can, but we might be able to.
I think it's just a blank screen. And the URL is always just going to be page X or whatever, like a number.
Yeah, but we can see the previous URL and see what's changed about the URL. If it does change the page, or if it's just that we're still on the previous page, that might tell us one thing versus something else.
That's fair, I guess.
Anyway. So you pick which one, if any of those, we're going to do next.
That's fair. I'll make simple issues just for those two really quick, and I can then and then maybe just doing the testing stuff for a little bit. I only have about 10 minutes. I probably need to still hop
Well,
off.
if you
around
only have
4:30.
about 10 minutes, let's finish up and that's fine.
Okay. Okay. Issues are up at 6:37 and in 2 seconds, like 6:38.
I don't think Caroline heard me that she made artifacts work. I don't think that's what she's working on right now anyway, but it's okay.
Artifacts? Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
No worries. I'm talking while you're doing a thing.
You're
This
good.
is a very bad habit of mine.
Oh, good. Okay, so those issues exist. Yeah. If we don't want to get into testing or anything else, then yeah, there's not much else to do. We're pretty much done.
Well, I mean, if
Otherwise,
we've
we
got
could do-
something that is fast to test, then let's do it. But you only have, 10 more minutes, then
Less of it fast and more of I don't know how fast it will be or how to do any of it.
okay.
So like stallable kiln. It was this question, and it's just npm and manually running npm install something.git.
Why do you need to test that? Like,
So
what are you hoping
yes,
to? What has not been tested that you're hoping that will test?
actually running the GitHub action while
Okay.
this is on a branch that is not merged, and while the npm package is not released, and while we're like installing it in a different way than we have been. And so the two things we need to do are actually, or I think the two things I think we need to do are, one, figure out a way to install the Kiln package, like npm install Kiln, from like this GitHub branch or from some sort of pre-release, not the normal release way. And then also change the action to point to this specific branch of Kiln, which is a lot easier, and I think I know how to do, but it's the npm part that, like, I guess you can just do this.
I think let's just go to a repository. I think the automated testing tests or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Still has tests on it, and we could just run. And we can probably just run like at I1 or something like that, so that it's very short. So we would go to we would make a new branch.
There are no tests on this.
There are no tests.
I think the tests were always running Kiln. If we're just looking for tests to run, like,
sure, let's run tests.
I think I've been keeping the EL affidavit.
Just trying to remember.
EL affidavit's really quick to run, and I should have been keeping it up.
Yep, you just need a specific
what about this
argument. You need a trying to find it. I think made GitHub. I think one of you can find it might be GBLS. Mass eviction defense. Eviction
I've got a screen shared.
Close.
The-
Oh, sorry.
No, you're sorry.
I'm looking at my own world.
I just don't know where it is in here.
No, this is not in there. Not where you are anyway. So
We're looking for.
you know what?
Again?
Let's look in our own code in our action.yaml. Because we have, there we go, AleKiln version. Not AleKiln version, that's not what we want. I don't think.
Sorry, action.yaml or test? I guess they both do the same thing. Action.yaml.
At some point there was, oh, I know where it is. It's in using. I forgot that. Okay. Uses. So steps uses Suffolk Lit Lab AleKiln, and his has releases at version 3, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And we need AleKiln at and then the commit number.
Yes, that's part of it. But the other part
that would test installing the right action from GitHub.
Yes, but the thing that I'm more confused about is how to get the action to install a pre-release version of Kiln.
Oh,
because right now we're like
then that would be AleKiln version. That would be AleKiln version. I would just need to. You would need to make a pre-release number in the package. .json. I could do that. I just then have to push back up. So just give me a second and let me.
That would help a lot because this is sort of a chain of things that I do not know how to do.
So if you unshare.
Yeah.
I'm gonna share. I will share different things at different times. So. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that. Then I'm going to Cucumber. Share.
I don't think I've changed the version number yet, but in package.
Have you published? Do you have, and is it in the changelog? Hang on.
No, because it's still a draft.
You know what branch was I on before?
No clue.
Shoot.
I've probably force pushed it since then, so like, yeah, you can always do, I think, git reset hard origin / slider package. JSON will like just get what's from GitHub and overwrite whatever you have, which is probably the right thing to do.
Yeah. I'm just gonna
delete and pull again. That works too.
Yeah.
And honestly, probably the way. I don't think you needed to pull checkout B. I think it's part of the issue.
Nope, because I needed a new branch. I just didn't pull from origin.
Well, no, there's going to be a bunch of conflicts because making the new branch is making the new branch essentially at main, and then trying to merge this with main.
Okay.
Like, what does main point to again in this?
What's the commit you were starting at.
What do you mean?
I mean, what was the commit that came before this commit? Before your first commit, do we know? How do we find that out?
It is. Where's my parent? Give me the parent commit. It is not telling me for some reason.
Gosh. Okay, I'm going to tell you how to do this.
Tell me how to do it. I can do that too.
Let me see your package.json in here. I can unshare so that
Okay.
you can see what you're doing.
I am doing it on a different screen, but
Oh, okay, so we can't see what you're doing. That's fine. So you did not change the version number.
yes.
What you want to do is you want to change from version 4.10.0 to 4.10.0 dash pre cly or something, pre-cly.
Okay. Okay.
And then you will want to do something in the changelog, but we don't have to do it now. And then
I'm actually going to make sure that this is.
oh, you need permissions to publish, don't you? We can just try it because you belong to the organization. You're an admin in the organization.
The Suffolk organization.
Yeah.
I don't have any NPM credentials, I think.
Okay, hang on. Then you can't do anything. Okay, git force pull. Right, local files. Pull again. Well, you have to go. So I'm going to work on figuring out how to do this.
So I can, at the very least, I'll change the package.json, and I'll make sure it's like on the latest changes, and so there's not any like weird differences between main and it. And,
then we'll be able to. Then I won't
I'll add it,
look up how to do this. That's fine.
okay. I'll add it to a quick thing. The thing that I think you might still need to help with is the actual how to make the pre-release when you have the branch.
You just add tag pre-release so that it's not latest. It doesn't matter what you add as long as it's not latest. And latest is the automatic tag that it adds.
To NPM, you mean, which is I think I do not have credentials for.
Exactly, which is
Yes,
why
okay.
I'm going to have to do it, which is why you have to update it and get rid of conflicts.
Yes, yeah. Okay. And I'll have that done. It's pretty close.
And update the changelog, because why not?
Okay,
or you can wait on doing that, but we do need to remember to do it.
No, I'll do at least a quick like add to the yeah, I'll just add. I won't add too much to it, but I'll just make sure there is a changelog.
Yeah.
So cool.
And then next time, and maybe we need to get you permissions on the Do you have an NPM account?
No, I sort of like if it's a matter of like adding if I should just make an npm account and you can add me to the Suffolk Lit Lab organization or whatever, I could do that too.
You can make an account. I think David would have to add you to the organization.
Okay.
So we don't have to do it, or we don't have to do it all at once, but we're going to have to do it at some point.
Okay, and this is one of the reasons I had sort of not touched it, because I know that there's that, but there's also like, oh, I could just run npm install from a Git. If I could figure out how to npm install from the GitHub link directly, then we don't have to worry about doing this pre-publish part. It like helps, but like, and that might be the next step after this. But I could do a lot more testing without having to do all this pre-publishing, because we might have to like pre-publish. Oh, it doesn't work. Let me do another pre-publish. So,
well, but yeah, I mean, but you'll want to be able to do pre-publishing with the action, so that you don't have to release to the version, so people don't have to.
My goal is to make a temporary, not permanent change to the branch that just says npm run install, or sorry, npm install from this GitHub link. That is not intentional to go in main. And then once that's finished and tested, we can, and making sure that it's good, we can do a quick pre-release.
You can't npm install from a GitHub repository. You have to npm install an npm release package.
That was what there was a GitHub. There's
a
Stack
Overflow. What it was about? Okay, that's Stack Overflow.
That's Stack Overflow is what I had linked to, and
I should have looked at the question.
But like I was trying to figure out, and I think there are ways you can do it from a branch. I'm trying to figure out, but I just didn't know. But it looks like you can do it, so I was going to try that.
Moly. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like you can do it directly from like commits too, which is very useful.
You can install a module. So that can go in the version. Okay, maybe that's what we should have been working on. That can go in the ALKiln version, because that's what, well, no, because
we have hard coded. You'd have to put the whole URL in the version. Does that work? I'll figure it out. This is the thing that I've been, which I think is.
But it does do using, right? We are doing using. Yeah, we're doing using, and no, hang on.
Do not know.
Not using. It doesn't matter what using is.
Oh, uses. Yeah, like I can make whatever ALKiln runner make it. Like it can use uses, and that's pretty simple. On like whatever repository I decide to make a temporary test for.
Yeah, I think this might not. Action setup node. I see. Hang on. So ALKiln version, where you have ALKiln version, yes. So the environment variable to pass in would be ALKiln version, and then use the GitHub address instead.
Nice. Okay, cool. That makes it a lot easier.
Let me just share my screen real quick to make that absolutely clear. Which is, here's where ALKiln version is used. Oh no, never mind, it won't work. I think
we've hard coded at the end.
What we
can
need
change
to
that, though.
do is.
I can change that though. I can make that temporarily whatever we want.
Just ALKiln version. Yep, to try it out.
Okay.
Right, because yeah, you need the whole thing. Okay, so you can't have this at business. But if you delete this, I mean, you can just make it the Git thing in that case, because why mess around with the environment variable? Just forget about the environment variable for now and just do npm install and the Git version or whatever.
Cool. Okay, that's good. Okay. And that's pretty straightforward. Thank you. That is definitely like helpful.
Okay.
There was a like I said, there's a long string of things that I was like, I think I could do this, but I don't know how to do the thing that I need to do next. And so
Yeah. Okay.
definitely helps to work at that with you.
All right. Okay.